Hi guys, I'm coming at you from Paris. Not Paris, Kentucky, but Paris, France. Today I'm heading over to a traffic jam which is about 250 miles from here in a small village just halfway between Paris and the Riviera. There was a time when everybody got their vacation at the same day in Paris, and then they piled into their cars and they were headed down to the Riviera. And halfway through there was this little town called Lapalisse, and that's where there was a gas station there which was built on the sidewalk. And then whenever somebody stopped for gas, then everybody else had to stop behind him. So hence there was a day-and-a-half long traffic jam there. So not too long ago somebody revived that, and they're making a classic car traffic jam. If it's not enough for you to have a traffic jam around the city, they're making a classic car traffic jam, and everybody's packing up their camping stuff and all kind of things on their cars, like simulating that they're actually heading to the Riviera for a vacation. So I always wanted to come here. This time I wanted to drive another vehicle, but now I'm just renting a car in Paris and I'm gonna drive down there. So come with me and let's look at how a vintage traffic jam looks like. So we just got here. We rented a French countryside cottage, and this is how it looks like. This is the living room, I would say, with original French furniture. It looks beautiful. She said this, the owner said that this is like a secret sofa where two persons can sit really close to each other and they can whisper next to each other. And only they are the one who can hear it. And it's a place where you can talk or play a little card games or something. And then here is a dining room with a proper table. And then next to the dining room, this is where we just came in. Here are all my stuff here. And then here's a proper kitchen. There is, if you look through the window, there is another little castle there, and actually somebody's living there while behind the tree. She said somebody's actually living in that one. Unfortunately, I couldn't drive my classic car, so I just rented a car, and then that's what I drove from Paris. And as we're going up into the second floor, these are really old stone stairs. This house was built in the 1800s, 1830, I believe. There's another little chair where you can sit. And here's the bathroom, an actual room, really nicely updated. So if you sit on the potty, you can actually have a view out, which also comes with the place. You can, there's a jacuzzi outside, but it's getting really cold for that. But for the summertime, it's probably a good idea. And then here's one of the rooms. Very nicely done, I believe. And then there is another room. This is one of the larger bedrooms here. Let me see if I can turn this on. And then there's one more room here. So if you have a bunch of buddies who try to go around the French countryside, this is like way down in the middle. It's 11 miles from Lapalisse, where this huge classic car traffic jam gonna be held. So it's just a couple minutes from here. That's perfect. There's an updated bathroom in this room, which doesn't really go well with the rest of the vintage of this place, but everywhere is this nice view. Yeah, I really like this place. So today we're gonna I'm gonna get my friends off the bus, and then tomorrow we're gonna go to that classic car traffic jam. And this is what it looks like on the outside. Absolutely gorgeous. I hope I can come back here in 2 years of time and then come with a classic car for this event. Here's the big day. I waited 3 years for this. I really wanted to see this place, so let's go to Lapalisse and then see what kind of cars we can find there. Sometimes we drive with a club a little bit close. Sometimes we have a car show in our street. Sometimes we have in the next town. Sometimes we have in the next state. But I flew across the pond to show you guys what you're gonna see here. So this is the car show of the National 7 Highways Association. It's basically like Route 66 for France. I found another permanent sign advertising this day, or this weekend actually. We start with a Citroen van. It's got the suicide door. It looks very funny. There's a small swap meet going on. Peugeot 403. And then accidentally a Ferrari just, incidentally, a Ferrari just stopped. I don't know where they're gonna put the junk if they buy anything here. The Citroen 2CV. This is how this whole thing starts. Like Colombo's convertible, but it's in a pickup truck version, a Peugeot 403. I'm very surprised that there are quite a few American cars here, like this Studebaker Champion with a really old air conditioning system on the rear window. This has Champ on it. Used to see that in another brand all around in the West. There's a real nice Buick with a Dynaflow transmission. This was the first generation Dynaflow. Very nice. I got a 56 version of it in a station wagon form. A really classic looking Citroen in a really bad paint job, but overall it looks nice. And then another Renault. The contrast is nice. There's a Bel Air, and next to it there is a little Citroen, but somebody modified to be a two-door convertible. But they say it's not gonna rain tomorrow, so I understand why they have the top on. And there is a British car just came in right there. And this one is a real Nomad. On the other side, I never really seen what that is. It says where that. Oh, that's a French car. It's supposed to have a flathead V8 in it, a very tiny flathead V8 in this one. Yeah, I wish they could open the hood for me, but there's nobody around. Very super cool. And then this one looks like a Peugeot. It's a convertible, and there's a trafficator on its side. So when you open it, this thing pops up and then lights up. It shows you that you want to turn. It's like a running museum. Very nice. It's a 203. The Citroen DS was a very advanced vehicle. It had a hydraulic suspension, and you were able to adjust the ride height with hydraulic means. And it's really a smooth ride. When I was living in Hungary, I had a Volvo Amazon. This one came, and then there's other something on the other side. I just totally lost in these French brands. There's what is this one? That one looks like a Renault as well, with a gigantic roof rack. There's one more of these Citroen vans, and then behind it there's a Simca, and then that's a Peugeot pickup. It's a 203 Peugeot pickup behind it. A lot of oddities, and this is just starting. Tomorrow is gonna be the main day. Then an MGB, and then the other Citroen just parked. Ooh, and just from here I just see looks like a 190 SL at the end, a Mercedes. We'll look at it in a second. Here's this 190 SL. I'm not totally sure where this license plate is from. It looks like it's a driver condition, not all that perfect, but that's how I like the cars, so you can just get in and go, don't have to think about it much. And here's a Peugeot just like Colombo used, but that was a convertible. And a Volvo Amazon. They're still bringing more cars. A new Renault Alpine. Unbelievable. When I lived in Hungary, I had a Triumph Herald. This looked exactly like that. Just mine didn't have a top on. So there are some British cars here today. And next to it there is a Jaguar. Someone said this whole place is gonna be full of people and cars tomorrow. That's a Renault Dauphine. I can't believe I see one. Last time I see one, it was in Atlanta. It was totally rotten. Sweet. Got to the middle of the city, or little town, and then here's the river. And next to it, if you come early enough, you are able to camp around. So we're gonna go down and look at this old vintage campers and vintage tents down there, towed by old cars. So we're gonna walk down there and see what they have. People are starting to arrive from all parts of France and some from Italy and then other places. So it's gonna be a huge day tomorrow. There's a fairly vintage Lambretta, 2 seats. original color, I assume. Look at that rear window. On some of them you can actually roll it down, but this one looks like it's full. Very odd. And there's another American car, a Corvair. I have a Corvair van at home. That looks like a 4-door sedan with gigantic exhausts on the back. And the racing Renault just parked. Here we can see a little bit of a Fiat section. It's a Cinquecento, which is Italian for 500. And I have a Fiat which is a 1500, which is a 1500. It's a very different car. Now this one was made by the Polish, it was the Polski Fiat, it was a little Polski Fiat, but this one looks like an original Fiat was made in Italy, not in Poland. Very, very similar, but if you look into the back, I see some original Italian signs on it, so in Poland they didn't put those on, so it might actually be a real Italian small Fiat, which makes it very rare because they didn't make as many as from of the Polski Fiat. Well, wait a minute. There's a doggy in here. I wonder if it's fake. No, there's some food and water next to it, so maybe it's a real doggy, but it doesn't even move. Hi, doggy. Oh, it moved. It's a real dog. Nice. And just sits there. Well, let's go look around. We're gonna see some campers and other weird stuff here. This is a vintage camping scene. Here's a little motorcycle. I would say a moped, so you can actually have a little helper engine on the front, which is runs the front wheel. It's made by Solex. Solex also made carburetors. And then you can see all kind of vintage stuff that people collected and displaying here all around. There's another Simca. I don't know if it's a V8. I think this one is a smaller one. No, I don't know. I really don't know what kind of engine is in it. But there's another one which is just slightly larger, which you seen earlier, and that has the V8 engine. It's most likely this one is not the V8 version. Here's an early Fiat 500. It says in Italian, says a new Fiat 500, a new 500. And you can open up the top pretty far, and then also you got the suicide doors on the side. Yeah, I used to have something similar when I was in high school. It was a little bit newer. A lot of good memories from Hungary when I was growing up. I really enjoy commercial vehicles. I have a couple of them from East Germany, and now I have one Corvair van, which I really like. This one is a Renault. I can't say I've seen one before. It looks like it's fairly used. It's a motorcycle helmet in it. And just in case you missed it, there's a Renault sign on the back. So it's really popular in Europe just to use a tent to stay somewhere overnight. Looks like someone arrived with a bicycle next to the tent. And then next to it, there's a really old Peugeot. It's a 203. Look at this front part in it. It's a very nice, looks like a lion head. So it weren't just the Americans who did that on cars. And there's a yellow light bulb in it. I'm not sure how much you can see it through the camera, but it's got a yellow light bulb in it. They thought it's better, gives you a better visibility in foggy conditions. A roof rack. So the cars came with an attachment point for roof racks, and you can looks like there's a metal sunroof that you can pull back on it. And of course, with this festival, you have to have some sort of suitcases on the roof rack, because we're simulating that we're going for a vacation, which now actually is here. As we see here is a convertible Peugeot, looks like with a fuel injection, and it's a Pininfarina designed car, but I'm not sure if they just put that on or it really is, but looking at the lines, it's looks like it might have been. Pininfarina was an Italian design studio, and that's a 404 convertible. There's a carousel from the 1950s. You can see the scooter with the fins on it, a mini bus. I remember when I was a kid, I was able to take rides in this kind of stuff. That's pretty cool. There's a Lambretta and a very pink something on the back. Here's this Peugeot 202. Looks like they just finished it. The headlights are hidden underneath the grill, and then you can see there are some places for the roof rack. I don't know why they don't have a roof rack. If I would have a car like this, I would most definitely would have a roof rack on it. Look like it came from Belgium. They just finished it. Oh, here's the Vespa car. And you can see the inside. Looks like the speedometer is actually for the passenger, so if your wife is there, she could start yelling at you that, hey honey, you're going too fast, slow down. So pretty nice, very, very interesting piece. Another 403, of course with a roof rack. I would put some luggage on top just to be like this. I think it's a Simca around, and you got everything on the top. You even have a little girl, and the hair is actually moved back on the top. Looks pretty cool. Looks like they just came. There's a cover for this badminton racket. You got a radio in the back. Everything is just a whole package here. Pretty cool. Hi, bonjour. This car called a Panhard, it has a 2-stroke engine, and I believe it's a 2-cylinder, and it's a convertible version, which is super very rare. Some of these Renaults and Peugeots, they grow really large with European standards, just like this one. There's another commercial vehicle. Looks like a Velo Solex. That's the little engine what you put on the front of the bike. Well, this one looks like a vintage Buzz as well. Very nicely restored inside. Let's look at it from the front so you can see it. Looks like it's built by Renault. It's like a French used wood as well. It wasn't just Ford and other companies in the US, because there was no metal after the war or during the war. This one looks like it's a Simca. There's a scooter with a trailer hitch on. I bet you guys never seen something like that. Couple more scooters, another Lambretta, a 403, and then a Ford Mustang. I'm gonna apologize from the American viewers, but this one is unexciting at the moment. All the rest of this French crap is a lot more exciting right now. Like that Peugeot over here, that 404 is just it's become my new favorite. It's got really nice tail, end, and really nice front end. It's a very usable car, and it's not even too expensive. So I assume you need to have one of these vintage campers to be able to camp here. And oh, here's a bicycle with a trailer hitch on it, made out of wood. And here's a very nice camper. It's got a shiny side. It's very fashionable in the US to have shiny campers. Not so much in Europe. Here's a typical French design. Look at this handlebar. You got two separate sides, and it's going up there. Have you ever seen such a thing? It's crazy. I'm looking at the cars going by, and then I see one of these things. It's a pedal car. It's a Citroen ID pedal car right up on the top. Awesome. The Italian Mafia arrived with two Lancia Fulvia coupes. I have a friend in Hungary who takes his to the Monte Carlo rally quite regularly. And there's another Fiat 1100 here in very nice shape. An Italian license plate too. Nice. Like there's the little Abarth 500 or Cinquecento with a larger engine. It says 595 engine. It's just hiding in the corner here with the suicide doors. This Citroen called the Traction Avant. I don't know if I say it right. This is a front-wheel drive vehicle. They made it all the way into the 50s with the same body. And there are quite a few of them today here. And then a more modern Citroen. This is where the car is going to line up apparently tomorrow. And the traffic jam is already starting. But tomorrow is the main day, and then Sunday is continuing. Hot air balloon flights are part of the whole deal. They are taking off from the real big castle's backyard, and then they are flying over the whole city. I believe tomorrow there are gonna be some more what's gonna fly. I don't know how windy it's gonna be, but we'll find out. But it must be a really nice view from up there. And another really beautiful futuristic Citroen DS, followed by the Renault little van. And I'd really like to see all the businesses in this town, because everybody's getting ready for this event, and they're collecting all these old items, and they display it in their windows. It's all over the city. As you probably can tell, I'm super excited because I already seen a whole bunch of cars which I never even seen before. I don't know what they are, like this one. It's just a really exciting event for me. Well, I know what this one is because I have one at home. This is a Bug-Eye Sprite. Mine is a race car configuration, but looks pretty cool. I guess another British visitor or a British car owner. A little Renault on the trailer, and the Citroen ID. That was before the DS, what we just seen earlier. I love these panel wagons. They're just missing some sort of graffiti from the side, some sort of business's name. And people keep bringing campers. I believe they stay in them too. A really early example of this Citroen Duck, they called it. And the V8, it's hard to say what it is, but it looks just like a Ford flathead V8. What's in this one? What you see here is a very early Panhard. Later on in the car's life, they made very aerodynamic cars and very small engines, so you didn't need that much of an engine power to run the car because the whole body was so aerodynamic. So there was a lot of airplane designers who worked on cars as well. This is also a Panhard. It's a Panhard 24. It's got about an 850cc two-cylinder boxer engine, sporting about 50 horsepower. It's made in the mid-60s. I think aircraft engineers worked on this car to design it. It's a very nice lineup of these Citroens. First one is a really modern Citroen DS, very comfortable. Then another one which was basically a leftover from the pre-war era, a Traction Avant, but made in the mid-50s. And then here's a Citroen Duck. And the local chapter of the French Easy Riders just showed up, and they're gonna just start cruising around town now. A very orange Volkswagen bus, slightly lowered with a roof extension on. Perfect thing to be sleeping in tonight. Convertible Peugeot. I think there's some dignitary gonna be in it. Maybe the mayor or some high-ranking official gonna be taken around with it tomorrow. I think I've seen one of these in New Orleans. They were selling it. I don't know if it was an ID like this one or was it a newer DS, but it was a really long station wagon. No, this is not a Studebaker, it's a Simca. It's a French car. These Peugeot 404s were indestructible and comfortable, and they don't even cost too much money. So if you want a French car, I recommend it. Just in case you want to buy some snails, there is a shit brown Renault. And with that, I'm just gonna close down this episode, and then next week we're gonna continue with the Saturday events, which is the main event. Hopefully not gonna rain tomorrow. So please come back next Friday and check out the real traffic jam what these old cars gonna cause in Lapalisse, France.